Emissions crushed JUP's last cycle. Now they're effectively zero, and 50% of Jupiter's on-chain revenue buys JUP. So why is JUP still this cheap? Because I think the market may still be pricing the token Jupiter used to have, not the one it has today. Let me show you what changed, how the machine works, and what could break the thesis. To see why that matters, start with what crushed JUP last time, supply. Last cycle, JUP kept absorbing new tokens from airdrops, team unlocks, and emissions. Every rally met with fresh sell pressure. That changed in February. The 700 million JUP planned for Jupuary was postponed, team reserve emissions were paused indefinitely, and Jupiter committed to offsetting Mercurial selling. Those 700 million tokens weren't burned, they remain in the Community Cold Multisig, and active staking rewards is still active. So effectively zero doesn't mean no JUP can enter the market. It means the major scheduled emissions that crushed the token are paused. The market remembers inflationary JUP, but that isn't today's setup. And here's the other half, demand. Users pay fees to use Jupiter products. What Jupiter retains across its products becomes protocol revenue. Half of that retained on-chain revenue buys JUP from the open market. So the headline needs one important caveat. It isn't 50% of every fee, it's 50% of what Jupiter actually keeps. And the loop is live. Roughly 134 million JUP has been burned, and the Litterbox has built back up to around 145 million. Holders don't receive that revenue directly, but it creates recurring buy pressure and removes JUP from the liquid market. Okay, so what actually generates the revenue? Spot trading comes first. Ultra, limit, and recurring orders charge execution fees. Half of the on-chain revenue Jupiter keeps goes into buybacks. Then you have Perps. GLP gets 75% of the fees and Jupiter keeps 25%. Half of Jupiter share buys JUP, so roughly 12.5% of gross Perp fees can reach the loop. Lend works differently. Lenders get 90% of borrower interest. The remaining reserve is split between Fluid and Jupiter. DefiLlama models half of Jupiter's share as buybacks, or roughly 2.5% of gross interest. Then there are JUP USD, Offerbook, and Gacha. They could expand the revenue base, but Jupiter hasn't published a complete routing table. Gacha has processed millions in pack spending, but spending isn't revenue, and Jupiter's cut isn't public, so I'm not counting it yet. That's a key distinction. More products create more upside, but only the on-chain revenue Jupiter actually keeps enter the 50% loop. So with that in mind, is JUP actually cheap? Over the last 30 days, Jupiter generated around $5.1 million of protocol revenue. Half is roughly $2.5 million in monthly JUP purchases. Keep that pace for a year, you get around $30 million in buybacks. Against a circulating market cap of roughly $685 million, that's a buyback yield of about 4.5%. Flip it around, and JUP trades at roughly 22 times the annual buyback run rate. Is that obviously cheap? No, but you're valuing today's revenue while Jupiter is still adding products and the major supply overhang is already paused. So my argument isn't cheap because the chart looks good. It's potentially cheap if the buyback machine keeps growing while the supply side stays clean. Buybacks aren't the only reason someone might hold JUP. Stakers get early access to DTF launches. WET, for example, traded at around 6 times the staker pre-sale price at the top. Projects can burn 1000 JUP for an express verify review, and active stakers still earn active staking rewards. So several forces work together. Buyback creates demand, staking locks supply, verify burns supply. And because the major emissions are paused, new tokens aren't constantly overwhelming that demand. If Jupiter grows, the whole flywheel gets stronger. So when you step back, this is the change the market may be missing. The old JUP was fighting constant emissions. Today, the major scheduled emissions are paused, while JUP has active buybacks. Staking utility permanently burns and a growing product suite. But the key is the connection between the business and the token. Core trading products already feed the buyback loop. Lend now appears to be included, and newer products like JUP USD and Gacha can add more upside if the revenue enters that same system. So why I think JUP could reprice? More products can create more revenue. More revenue inside the loop means more buybacks, and with less new supply, every dollar of buybacks matters more. The thesis breaks if that connection breaks, if the buyback policy changes, or Jupiter keeps shipping products that never feed revenue back into JUP. Right now, I think the market may still be pricing last cycle's JUP. I'm looking at the JUP Jupiter build for the next one. So what do you think? Is JUP undervalued, or are you still waiting for proof?